All right. It is time for another junior developer job search. We're going to see if we can find any. Before we do, let me go ahead and post this in Discord. Everything else is loaded. We are good to go. All right, publish. And let's go. All right, so the first city I want to take a look at is Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida is a city that I'm seriously considering moving to in the next 2 years. Whether I do or not, we'll see. But I do want to check that out. And then I'll go ahead and ask what cities you guys want me to look at. What's up, Zinka? How you doing? And happy Friday. Happy Friday. All right. Let's dive in. So I rarely use Google Jobs. It kind of aggregates a bunch of different job boards, I believe. Right? So why don't we start there? Let's go front end developer. We'll go... Ooh, I didn't know you could put in multiple locations, up to 4. Really? Really? That's cool. Experience. Early. I like... Okay, that's a little bit more honest. No results. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to open this up a bit. Yo, what's up, Michael? Happy Friday to you as well. B Club, how you doing? All right, I'm gonna do Chicago. I know Chicago. We might have to match it perfectly. Ooh. Front. Let's just do web. Oh, it auto-populates? Web developer? No, it doesn't auto-populate. There is no way there aren't entry-level positions. No, hold on. No way. Miami, we'll do front end developer. All right, we're gonna do experience level, entry level. Okay, now we're getting some positions. Let me see if I can open that up. So if I toss off early, we'll look at Chicago and Florida. Here, let's do front end developer. 9 jobs matched. I don't think... No. I don't know if it's populating this with as many jobs as Indeed is. We have UI programmer, front-end engineer. Hey, that's why you use a bunch of different job boards, you know? By the way, go ahead and toss your city. If you want me to add a city, go ahead and toss your city in chat. All right, so we're going to start with a couple. Let's... Yeah, I think that's it. Let's go UI programmer. EDGLRD. A dynamic company. Blah, 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 blah. User interfaces across desktop, web, and mobile platforms. Okay, so it's just UI. It's not necessarily web development. So possibly a hybrid, like React Native. This is the thing. There are just some job postings. Oh, never mind. Okay, because I wonder... Are they talking about responsive web design, or are they talking about bringing in something like React Native? Familiarity with mobile app development and desktop application UIs. Experience with front-end frameworks. So probably a single project with React Native or something similar would suffice. Or equivalent experience. Again, ignore this, still apply. such as React. So any framework. So experience with front-end frameworks. So being able to like even having a project in Vue could be helpful. I don't think. I wonder how entry-level friendly it is. Like if they're truly just looking for a little bit of experience with the framework, a little bit of experience with building kind of a single mobile application, which probably, again, you could do with something like React Native. It's really hard. Bonus familiarity with Unity or Unreal Engine. Familiarity with XAML, Qt, or other desktop UI technologies. Yeah, I don't. This is truly a UI programmer position. I don't know if you're going to be doing much web dev here. I think we're going to move on. But, you know, if web dev isn't your cup of tea and you are building UIs on different platforms, this could be for you. I don't know. I truly don't. Portland? Is that city not on fire yet? We could do Portland. Vancouver, Houston, Toronto, New York City. Okay, we got a lot of cities to check out. Okay. These postings most likely have over 100 applicants. Also, hello, live stream. They do, but who cares? So? But like, honestly, what's the relevance of that? 100's low. Listen, if they only have 100 applicants, that's a win. Yeah, that's I don't think this is too web dev focused. We're gonna go web dev focused. I know web dev. All right, moving on. I'm not sure what to make of that last one. It could be entry level friendly. I think it's definitely worth applying to. Is senior the new junior? No. All right, front end engineer. Knowledge of React.js or Angular. Okay, so I like companies that are willing to adapt just experience with working with a front end framework. I mean, React and Angular are very different, but if that kind of shows me that they're willing to ramp you up a bit. But again, you know, having experience with like Vue or something like that, a lot of these companies want you to hit the ground running. It's going to be tough if you've only built something with Vue and you're trying to apply to a position like this. UI, UX design principles. The front-end developer will work closely with the design team and back-end developers. Okay. Database management systems like Postgres and NoSQL platforms is a nice to have. This feels very entry-level friendly. Why isn't Google popping up with these positions? Hold on. Like nothing here. Do I have to... I tossed off early. I don't think... Oh, it's Google Careers. Wait. Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. It's Google Jobs. Okay. 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 We're just going to keep hitting the back button until my embarrassment goes away. All right, so we want... So not Google Jobs, just Jobs. Didn't it have a tab before? Let me know. Did it not have an extra tab for Jobs? Am I crazy? Yo, what's up, Dylan? How you doing? What's up, Callie? I'll give it my best shot for Richmond, Virginia. Hello from Boston. Haven't been active lately. Been focusing on getting finances in order and getting my health better. That's awesome. I love to hear that, Dylan. Yo, we're going to start doing fitness streams soon. I keep saying it. As long as my back doesn't go out again, I'm good. Like, we were ramping up to that. So, hopefully soon. Okay. Yeah. Hire me. I'll work for $2 per hour. All right, Justin. I don't know. I think we're going to skip trying to find Google jobs unless someone can find the specific way to load up jobs. Because it used to have a jobs tab that would aggregate a bunch of jobs from different job boards. Would it not? I don't want to dig into it too much or spend too much time with it, but if anyone knows, let me know. All right, we're going to go front-end engineer. So we have knowledge of React. Yeah, so this is pretty entry-level friendly. We went through this already. Okay. Let's do a different city. We'll stick with Indeed for a little bit. All right, you guys said Portland. Oh, man. I gotta hold my thoughts on what I think about certain cities. I can't keep bashing everyone's city. It's just, no, I can't do that. That's mean. I gotta stop being mean. All right, so we're gonna go experience level, entry level. Oh boy. Okay. Let's open it up to web developer. Full stack developer. Okay. The problem is full stack positions generally don't hire entry level developers without any experience. And so it's rough, but I would be very careful about investing a ton of time in applying for full stack positions. Focus front end or back end and focus on finding entry level. Okay, let's look. I mean, the salary itself in Portland is, I feel like that's low enough to make this fairly entry level friendly. Okay, and occasional client sites. Requirements, minimum of 5 years. Are you kidding me? A minimum of 5 years for 65,000. Go fuck yourself. Okay. Proficiency in open source flavors. Server-side programming language like Node, Python, Java, or Ruby. Proficiency in microcontroller programming language environments such as C, C++, Lua. Okay. Of course. Experience with creative coding tools. Yeah. Don't recognize any of those. Knowledge of digital electronics and whole through soldering skills. Okay. A systems thinking mindset, which is you're going to find in more senior software engineers. Experience with Vue is a plus, but not required. You'll learn it quickly. Okay. I think whoever gets this position for this low of a salary, I think you're going to have a really rough time. Oh, that just hurts me to look at positions like this. I think this is rough, and I don't think it's going to be entry-level friendly. And if you are an entry-level developer, you have no professional experience, you're going to hit the lower end of this, maybe even lower than that. And you are going to be working a lot of hours. That pains me. We're skipping that position. That's rough. Yo, what's up, Renee? How you doing? The jobs here are definitely worth bashing. Oh no, Mark. In Philadelphia. Why would you even bash people's cities? Because they're trash. Why not? You don't think there aren't trash cities in the United States worth bashing? Or we'll say, you know what, I'll be friendlier and I'll say cringe. I feel like I'm kind of meeting people middle of the road with the word cringe. Listen, Wojak, I think you're too sensitive for this channel. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to save you some embarrassment. We're just going to ban you. You're too sensitive. I'm going to help you out. All right. Let's keep going. All right, we're going to switch. Do we switch? Do we want to continue diving into Portland? I'm going to be honest. That just makes me want to bash Portland even more. It just does. All right, so bachelor's or master's degree in computer science or computer engineering or related discipline, 5+ years. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't do entry level. Okay, let's do full stack engineer. We'll do one position. Then we got to move on from Portland. I know Portland's been having a rough time for entry level positions. This is experience level. Okay. All right. So what was another city? Let's see. We can do Houston. Why not? A mod choice. Let's do it. Okay. I'm almost afraid to keep pushing forward. I'll be honest with you. All right, let's do it. Full stack engineer. None of these are web development positions. Component. Yep. Okay, we're going to do web developer. Entry level. UI UX developer. Okay. Sure. By the way, follow me on LinkedIn. I think I want to start. So I got Twitter and LinkedIn screwed up. I used to think Twitter was about, had a bunch of emotionally fragile people where you would say a controversial opinion in tech and, or disagree with someone and they would take it personally and get triggered and just do petty tweets. LinkedIn is so much worse. There is so much emotional fragility in LinkedIn when you say people have to work harder. I cannot wait to create more posts to trigger more people on LinkedIn. I think it's a growing addiction. So follow me on LinkedIn if you want to see that. But holy shit, I am going to continue getting so many notifications. I can't wait. I don't drink coffee because I'm trying to keep my caffeine intake down. I just drink decaf, but I'll just pour decaf coffee. Really good. Just a little bit of milk. I like a little bit of milk. And I just sit there for a half an hour reading the comments and I'm enjoying myself. LinkedIn really is something else and I'm enjoying it. So I'm probably going to post more there. Definitely follow if you want to see that. Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. So let's see if we can find some positions at Houston first. So we have software engineer. That is in Oregon. So now we have UI UX developer. Adobe authoring. Oh, it's an Adobe Experience Manager. It's not a traditional role. Okay. I see this as more of a low-code developer position, which if you want to dive into this technology, that is a thing. I don't think it's very common, Adobe Experience Manager, but yeah, this doesn't feel like a traditional web development role. Okay, let's do front-end developer. I want to find one position for you, Zinka. Blazor. Wait. No. UI. Okay, there we go. UI designer. Oh boy. Okay. Translate UI design patterns. Collaborate with the product team to create visually stunning UI designs. So you want a designer and a developer for how much? I bet you that's a smart decision hiding that salary. I bet it's pretty low to be able to account for people doing two different jobs. Okay. Yeah, at least 1 year of experience with UI design or front end. What the hell is this position? Is it and or? I guess if you have some design chops and development chops, you're probably going to be stronger in one area and I don't know. This is rough. Like, I don't like these UI development positions because there are almost no programs that prepare you for something like this. And I bet you, because they're hiding the salary, it's going to be a fairly low salary. Like, you can at least give a range. This is rough. I still think it's worth applying to as a developer if you do have an interest in web design and you're willing to learn it and go through some sort of education on it.
Hey, listen.
Renee. Thank you so much for the support, man. It doesn't give the amount of time. Anyways, thank you so much for becoming a supporter. I think you just renewed your membership. I think you're at like 2 months now. Why doesn't it tell me like how many months? Huh, that's weird. Anyways, thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. Damn. Membership already. I honestly think I'm gonna ditch Houston. Can we get more cities in chat? We will possibly come back to Houston. Houston is a bust. It seems like it. Yeah. DC, Charlotte. What's the LinkedIn? The LinkedIn, you'll find it in, if you go to my channel page. You just search Don the Developer or Don Hansen, but you'll find it in the channel page on YouTube. What's up, Mill Mike? How you doing? I was a member, but there was an issue on my payment info. Haha. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so that's why it shows it as a new one instead of a resubscription. By the way, if you're already a member, every month you get a resubscription. You just pop up an alert. You could take advantage of that. But YouTube needs to let you know that the membership renews, and then you go ahead and renew it. Charlotte is a fintech, so it's interesting. Okay, we'll check out Charlotte. Why not? Let's do it. Shopify. Oh my God. Shopify developer is the only position. Oh boy. Okay, let's look at full stack developer. We'll go experience. Okay. We're gonna go. Let's just look up web developer. All right, experience level. Professionally licensed. That's not funny. That's not funny. But we go through so many positions that have so many requirements that have nothing to do with development. I just never seen provisionally licensed primary therapist. I guess that's a new requirement for web development nowadays. I'm sure it's required in this profession, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're going to be handling sensitive client data. I don't know. But we have one position to look at, all right? One position. So this one's 87 at 124 in Charlotte. So you're just partnering with design. You're not expected to be a web designer. Thank you. Experience level 2 years, worth applying to. Front-end development, 1 year preferred. CSS, 1 year preferred. Shopify, 2 years preferred. Okay. This is probably going to be fairly entry-level friendly, but it's not going to be accepting cookie-cutter websites or cookie-cutter experience. I feel like you got to build some pretty robust stuff with Shopify at an entry level to probably be qualified for something like this. But yeah, it's a Shopify position. These things do exist. And I think, like, even if you don't learn some of these content management systems, a lot of times really good fundamentals will have you considered for positions like that. But if you really enjoy Shopify and you want to work with it, you should build something with it and apply for positions like that. Okay, I see Detroit. Let's go Detroit. Shopify can be fun. Like, it's a legitimate career too. Like, there are enough positions in Shopify to make it a career if you want to. Okay, junior front end. I'm just going to look for junior, I guess. Junior front end web developer. None of these are web development positions. Okay. Let's take a look. We'll do one position per city, I think. GPA. Nutshellers? Successful nutshellers. Can someone define what this is for me? In this role, have majored in computer science and related fields. Is this... Oh, it's a nutshell. Okay. I got it. Never mind. The company's name Nutshell. You're a nutsheller. If they call you their family, I would not drink the Kool-Aid. Other than that, it could be a friendly environment. Okay. So this is a position where they are clearly preferring CS grads. They're very clearly preferring CS grads. You can convince them otherwise, and good luck with that. There is that opportunity, just you better be good at what you do. Part-time. Okay, internship. So they make it clear they accept an internship experience. Okay. Background and opinions on HTTP API design. As a front-end developer. Okay, maybe working with it? Experience with unit testing and continuous integration. Yo, there is no reason not to learn to write automated tests and set your website to be set up with continuous integration. There's just no reason at the entry level not to do this. There's just software that makes it so incredibly easy. The fact that you haven't set this up yet, this is something you want to dig into. This is incredibly easy at this point. Way I got the job is knowing someone who knows someone. That is true. That is very true. Listen, I give a lot of advice for the cold application approach because I want to make it as good as possible because most people are going to use it. You're going to use the cold application approach, and you should use it in combination with networking. You should do both, but most people are just going to do the cold application approach, so I really try to focus on making that as effective and efficient as possible. This feels entry-level friendly. Excellent time project management skills, and you could prove a lot of this stuff through previous positions that aren't dev positions, that aren't even tech positions. Leadership positions are really good for this. Demonstrating good work ethic is really good for demonstrating stuff like this. Yeah, a lot of extras. Sense of urgency and consistently meet deadlines, interpersonal skills. This feels entry-level friendly, and I bet you a good personality, a good cultural fit is going to easily be able to outshine CS grads, but you're going to have to work to prove that. You have a master's in nutshelling, you should definitely apply to this, for sure. Nice, wonderful family of nuts. All right, what other cities? We'll go like 1 or 2 positions per city. I won't, that's all we have, to be honest. So we'll go like 1 or 2 positions per city. What other cities? Has anyone in Chad, chat, been successful doing a couple of freelance gigs besides family, friends? Is there a website used to find clients? Feel free to answer. Yeah, there are a lot of job boards that you can look at for freelance. Can you do remote? Yeah, I might as well at this point. Yeah, we could do. Well, remote is an option. Let's go. We'll do a few positions that are remote. I want to find some front end focused positions. Front end developer, remote. All right, 31. UI UX, UI engineer, ads platform, L5. Let's take a look. No, that's SAP BPC. Okay. Let's do a few that I think might be relevant to you guys. Oh boy. Okay. We'll just load this up. UI UX web developer. Okay, we got 2. Check Boston. Okay, we could do Boston after. A CMS. Okay, so they have... This is just a CMS position. I mean, position middle... Okay. Okay. Duration 3... So a contract position. SQL queries and data manipulation. It's an application developer. Not really front-end focus at all. Angular. Oh. Okay, so it does require Angular.NET C#. Can you give me a salary range? Sometimes it could be a little bit rough to get contract positions as an entry-level developer. This is, like, I'm telling you, at this point, start looking for internships. Start looking for free internships. You can complain all day long about working for free. It's not a buyer's market for developers. Like, I don't think I have to remind you for the 100th time. You should be considering a free internship. You should be considering literally going up to different businesses and being willing to build their website and potentially build a relationship and see if that comes of anything or something comes of that. I don't necessarily... Like, I think pairing a little bit of freelance experience with a personal project where you are diving deeper into the personal project to grow as a software engineer is healthy. The reason why I don't usually recommend freelance gigs is essentially because you're not solving complex problems. You're not really growing as a software engineer in programming with freelance gigs. So, not with your initial freelance gigs. So I would just be, I think a lot of people need to be more open. I did a free internship for 9 months. Sometimes it's okay to get paid with knowledge and experience at first. Yes. I agree. And you got to look at it this way. It's like, do you want to spend, the next 3 to 6 months working on personal projects, or do you want to spend the next 3 to 6 months working on professional applications to be able to put professional experience on your resume and get that feedback from professional software engineers? That's how I would look at it. All right, let's take a look at Boston. We'll look at front end, one front end, and then one full stack. So that's going to be a CMS potentially. Or if we can get a couple from this. A teacher, vocational tech, applications development engineer. Okay, front end. Let's see if anything else pops up. Yeah, probably the same ones. We're going to do web developer. Let's just do web developer. They probably put that as a keyword for almost all of them. What's up, Astral? All right. Let's go. Amazon Robotics. Same thing. Site reliability engineer. It's not going to be what you're looking for. PHP, IOP, behavioral health technician. mental health, PHP lead clinician, a lead. Okay. Okay. Well, let's take a look at front-end engineer storefront in Boston. GraphQL. This doesn't seem like a content management system. Or equivalent combination of educational experience, okay. Experience coding JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Just looking for some sort of framework. SaaS. Yo, like, people are sleeping on SaaS. If you are an entry-level developer diving into Tailwind and you haven't really built anything with SaaS, the recommendations to dive into Tailwind are just obnoxious for entry-level developers. It can be a side. If you find that you have a few positions in your local area that do have Tailwind and you have that in your tech culture in your big city, like, that's one thing. But man, SaaS is still king in terms of popularity in professional code bases. Style components is another one. Familiarity with GraphQL, best practices around its use. That's interesting. I think being able to... to be able to set up the GraphQL layer, that feels very advanced, but I'm almost at this point feeling like that is something people should explore. At least full stack developers should explore. Like, as a full stack developer, you should set up a GraphQL layer, and then for a different app, you should set up a RESTful API. Like, the requirements kind of just keep going up. That's just the situation we're in, but there's probably some cloud solution that's going to allow you to use GraphQL on the front end. I don't think it's that difficult. I think it's incredibly easy. There's probably some value in working with GraphQL on the front end outside of managing the GraphQL layer. I just can't. It's hard to expect an entry-level developer to really flesh out that GraphQL layer unless you are using some tool to kind of auto-build everything. Yeah, I don't know. That's rough. GraphQL is a bit of a step up. A passion for UI, UX, and design systems. Okay, that's fine. This feels entry-level friendly. And the fact that they're... this probably feels like a good culture to work for. Wayfair. Okay. Huh. I don't know. This is probably entry-level friendly. I would apply to something like this. I was looking for Boston jobs just to take a look. SaaS and a lot of those. Gotcha. SaaS is very popular still. What's up, Chaotic? How you doing? Yo, what's up, Uncivil? How you doing? Hello, Northern Chimp. Welcome back. I paid someone Fiverr to apply to jobs for me when I was a beginner. Spend time building projects. Don't look for work. No. I guess that's a strategy. That's interesting. I've never heard of someone paying... Like, yeah, I guess, sure, you can kind of get a virtual assistant to do that. But it depends on how much money you have. I'd be curious about the rates of that. So you probably got, like, some virtual assistant, but they're not going to be helpful. They're just not. They don't really know what to look for. It's probably it's kind of like a generic resume builder where they don't really know how to tailor your resume specifically to the type of developer position that you're trying to get. I feel like it's going to be extremely inefficient, and if you just have money to toss at it, you'll get some hits potentially. with hundreds of applications. But yeah, now I see why hiring managers are just tired of sifting through all this garbage. Like, it's just a bunch of spam resumes. That's just contributing to essentially the problem with so many people applying to every single position. It's a strategy, I guess, but I feel like it's an extremely inefficient one. Hello from India. Hello, Naveen. Is it worth moving across the US for an entry-level job? No one else can answer that but you. That's a you situation. You got to figure out if that's best for you. All right, we keep going. What are the cities? I would start looking at startup job boards. I keep forgetting that one job board. Is it Well Found? No, that's not. I don't know. Where to find startup jobs? Oh, Reddit? You've been blocked by network security. Oh, probably because of my VPN. St. Louis? We could do St. Louis. I think we need to... maybe we start building a list of job boards in the Discord. What do you guys think about that? Y Combinator has a startup job board, does it? Okay. Yeah, it's so much easier, and I agree with you, Mark. It's so much easier to argue culture fit. Or not argue, but like find a startup where you are a good culture fit. And culture fit is everything in a startup. It's everything. Yeah, I think we should have like a... Here, let me actually create that right now. Well, how do I want to do this? Let me think about it. If I want to create a channel where anyone can post job boards, or maybe we just have people submit them. I don't know. We could just build a list. I don't know. Let me think about it. I'll probably create a new channel and see. I found that frameworks, technologies, discords have job boards for the tech. Okay. We should probably start building that up. I think that's a great idea. Let's do that. All right, so St. Louis. All right. We'll do New York City next. I mean, like, the reality is a lot of these mini big cities haven't been doing well for a while. A lot of really big cities have. Keep that in mind. Which St. Louis? We need some bigger cities. Let's do New York City. New York, New York. Experience level, entry level. Front-end engineer, AWS Glue UI. Okay. C# developer. Lead software engineer. Okay. Front-end developer. Okay, so let's go front-end developer. We can take a look. Junior SQL dev, data analyst, BA, React. Okay, we'll check out a few. Front-end engineer, AWS Commerce Platform, 3 years of non-internship professional front-end. That's probably not going to be entry-level friendly. Let's check out full stack web. Oof. I think platforms like this are probably going to be a waste of time. I got to start building up a list. I have a bunch of bookmarks somewhere. I got to find those bookmarks, but we probably need to be a little bit more focused on the startup world, to be honest. 2+ years of non-internship, 1+ years of computer science fundamentals, object-oriented. So just fundamentals, not CS degree, just fundamentals. This is entry-level doable. I wouldn't say it's entry-level friendly, but it's doable. Coach and mentor new and junior team members. Well, okay. Implement, deploy, and manage UI components. React and TypeScript. Common data engineering tools. I feel like this is entry-level doable. With Node. Amazon Development Center. Okay. This might be a little bit rough for entry-level developers, to be honest. Yeah, this is probably going to be rough. I take that back. You could apply to something like this. I don't think it's going to be well worth your time. Personality, culture fit, enthusiasm for learning plus interest in the problems they're solving plus portfolio full of proof you could do the job equals silver bullet. Yep. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I agree. All right, we move on. Front-end developer on-site. Like, you know, part of the fun of these live streams is being able to roast some of these positions because they're not the norm. Now, it's just sad because they are the norm. So, yeah. We'll keep going. I want to see if we can find a few more entry-level positions. But the reality is you're going to have to look. And I feel like a lot of the jobs that are going to be more open to hiring you, they're going to be on even potentially like, I don't know if Product Hunt has a job board, but like finding new apps that are being built that are getting some investment money because investment money is drying up. But it's about just seeking out startups that recently got investment money that want to scale their product and volunteering for a low pay or even free if you don't have any professional experience. I know no one wants to hear that. Listen, that's why you keep your other job and you don't do full-time for free if you can't afford it. You look for part-time, dedicate maybe 10 hours a week or something like that. If you're doing it for free, most companies, most startups are going to be open to that. But that's just a reality. And I think people need to shift their perspective on working for free because you're going to be working for free anyways by building out your portfolio. You are going to get much better experience on your resume and just better experience to help you grow as a software engineer. Usually, if you're working for a company on a professional product, right? You want to try to align, like if you're going to be working for cheap or free, you want to make sure that that startup and the tech stack and what you're trying to achieve aligns with what they require. But I think that's where the focus needs to shift a little bit for a lot of people. Because again, like I've talked about this, you can stand out with positions like this by building professional looking applications, professional applications. You're capable of that as a junior developer. But the reality is you're going to have to extend the length of time it takes to become a developer. It takes a while to build up professional patterns of thinking as a developer. And you can do that through personal projects, but also gaining a user base, going through the Scrum process, because you're going to push out an application, you're going to get that feedback, and you are going to go through the Scrum process of just planning out what features need to be built. You can go through the entire professional process and replicate that and get experience with that, but you need a user base. You need to build shit people use. That's the reality. And most people aren't willing to go to those lengths. And so you're going to continue spinning your wheels and struggling and being frustrated with the job market until it gets better. It will get better, but I'm giving you advice on how to truly stand out for the 100th time. And I know most of you won't take it, but I hope you do. I hope you take it seriously. True. Emphasis on site. On site, yeah, good. If it's on site, well, what do you mean by that? And I like a lot of people are trying to find remote positions too. Like, you got to be more open than that. Remote position, even back in the day, remote positions weren't really for entry-level positions. And somehow the market has gotten rougher and entry-level developer skill has actually gone down with a lot of educational programs for some reason convincing people that they can really have such low value skills and get a dev job, and now the expectation to get a remote position is higher. I don't know how that line of thinking happened, but for some reason that has been instilled in junior developers. In 2000, like back when I became a developer, I don't even remember what date. You can look at my LinkedIn. Back when I became a developer, remote positions were extremely rare for entry level. Like it was taught to us that no, this is not something we should be expecting. We can apply, but it's going to be reserved for experienced developers. And for some reason, people expect remote. That is crazy to me. People who have to work multiple jobs won't have time for that. I agree. I never said they wouldn't. Those are definitely for situations. But the thing is, Nick, if you don't even have time to build up, if you don't have time to dedicate to a free internship, you don't have time to build up your portfolio. You don't have time to become a developer. So that logic is just broken, right? If you don't even have time to code in your spare time to grow as a developer, then you can't become a developer. You're right. Again, your line of thinking is completely broken because if you want to become a developer, you got to code. Why not code through a professional application? All I'm saying is transfer your focus to building a professional application instead of your personal projects. That's it. And if you don't even have time to code on the side, of course you can't become a developer. Like, that's just obvious. I've got to go. Everyone have a good day and like the stream. Appreciate that, Zinka. Yes. Yes, I do appreciate all the likes. It does boost the stream and the algorithm. I found a rare example of what you're looking for. Simple JS-view position. Okay. That sounds good. You will still be beholden to deadlines and have to work according to the team. Well, no, you set your limitations, Nick. I'm saying to guard your time. And if you can't dedicate that time, if they're asking something that you can't deliver, then you don't work there. I'm not saying to jump into a company where they are giving, they aren't agreeing to the terms that you set up from the beginning. I'm saying that you don't apply until both like your expectations and their expectations align. I'm not just saying to jump into any company. I think you're misinterpreting what I said. You've got to make time, and it's still going to be hard. Yes, exactly. You have to make time no matter what to push forward. And yes, it's going to be a lot more difficult than you think. And a lot of people need to make way more sacrifices than they make. There are developers that are sacrificing their or aspiring developers sacrificing their weekends. There are developers having a serious conversation with their spouse to like take care of the kids during this amount of time. Like, if I want to make this change, if we want a brighter future, this needs to be done. There are parents making so many sacrifices. There are people just with other responsibilities making sacrifices. I think a lot more people need to make more sacrifices than they realize. That is just the reality of today. That's just the reality. Front-end developer on-site. I think I'm done looking at this one. Or did we even look at it? I forgot. Minimum 3 years professional experience. That's going to be rough to apply. Yeah, 100. That's probably not going to be entry-level friendly. Yep, CSS preprocessor. That's still going to be king. CSS preprocessors are still going to be king. Just learn Sass. Just learn Sass. Webpack's going to be common. But like at an entry level, I don't think there's a high expectation that you're very comfortable with like digging into a Webpack config. I think being able to look at documentation and being able to set up a Webpack config is an expectation. But that's just a skill of looking at documentation, right? Having some sort of build tool, like even if you get experience with Vite makes it a little bit simpler, but that can be helpful. But it's just about being able to look at documentation and set something like this up. But yeah, just a salary range. I mean, it's New York City, though. This actually could be a little bit more entry-level friendly. But again, it's about the applications that you can show that you've worked on. So it's entry-level doable. All right, any other cities you want to check out? I opened this one because I was kind of curious about the React. Okay, this seems entry-level friendly. SQL. Oh, this is actually much more entry-level friendly. Hybrid work in New Jersey. Immediate green card processing. Okay. I mean, can you dig into the technical requirements? Oh, sorry, I missed it. Bachelor's degree, I'd still apply. Business analyst, Power Automate, this is going to be very non-web dev focused. Maybe building an internal tool with React, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't really feel web dev focused. Toronto, Vancouver. Honestly, Hugo, like every time I go to Canadian cities, there's just nothing. And as it's gotten worse, I just expect there to be nothing in Toronto and Vancouver. Those are just two cities that there's just, it's really hard to find a job there. Hey, Don, just joined the stream. How important do you think a bachelor's is versus a certificate? Important, like what bachelor's and what certificate? Can't seem to get past HR with some pretty strong projects. What have you done, Michelle, in terms of networking? What hackathons have you participated in? What meetups have you gone to? Where have you met other developers? What specifically have you done to create content and build up your LinkedIn network? Like, this is going to be king, right? Building up your network is something you should highly prioritize at this point. We're going through the cold application approach. You're seeing how rough it is. This is the cold application approach. You go through job boards, you find jobs, you apply to them. This is the rough path. What are you doing to actually build meaningful connections in the tech industry? A certain programming, bachelor's in software, it depends on the college, right? If you're talking about a CS degree, that's a little bit different. There's trust in a CS degree. But software engineering specifically, it really depends on the college. Just because you have a software engineering degree doesn't mean you're not a shitty software engineer. Like, that, it just produces a variety of skill levels. But a certain programming, like what certain programming? The fact that you're not even able to be specific makes me think that you're just going... It's an extremely generic question, and I think you got to also light it up with the positions that you're applying to. But almost always a bachelor's in some sort of... well, it just depends, yeah. Because like the cert itself, like if you're just talking about like a coding boot camp certificate, or like you just get a certificate by passing some quiz or some challenges on a website, like that's almost always going to be worthless. Is it worth going to a meetup full of developers who are also looking for jobs right now? Yes. If they get jobs, yeah, build connections. If they get jobs and they enjoyed your company, a lot of companies will ask, you know, who would you recommend that we brought in before we make this position public? Because they want a good cultural fit and they want the skills. But if you did build that connection and you built that relationship and, you know, that person got a job before you, they can recommend you if they really want to work with you. That's how that works. So I would highly recommend just, yes, start going out there, meeting other developers, even if they're aspiring developers. And it's not about just saying, hey, what can you do to get me a job and being a salesman about it. It's just about going to hackathons, having fun with it, participating, getting involved in the tech community, like really getting involved and setting your roots in the tech community and just building up those connections. And it's okay to say, hey, you mind if we connect on LinkedIn? Like that is perfectly fine. And I think you should do that. So, yeah. We got to talk more about networking. Like that's just... So I think what my focus is going to be, we're going to go... So, hold on. I'm thinking too many thoughts. We're going to go full cam. Nope, that button doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. We're going to go full cam. And we'll just answer questions. We'll do a Q&A for about 15 minutes. Everything's set up. Cool. But I think what I want to do is start focusing on job boards that are focused on startup culture. And kind of just going through how to navigate that. Because it's a little bit of a different strategy when you are applying to startups and highly pushing for a cultural match. It's a little bit different. I think we do that. And I think we pair it with... going through what networking actually means. You always hear networking. But like even in my course that I'm creating, there's so many avenues of it. So much knowledge to gain from like what the hell does networking consist of? What are actual strategies? What are actions I can take? How can I get involved in the dev community? And there are a variety of ways for that. Networking is just going to be king, and I think we got to talk more about it. Let me pull this over here. Guys, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to have a little bit more of a success rate. But again, the jobs that we usually roast are becoming more of the normal, and I think we just got to transition a bit. That's just a reality. I wish I could change the job market. I can't. I actually kind of feel bad for you guys. Because usually we can kind of squash a lot of doubt, but yeah, it's just rough going through a bunch of positions that just are not entry-level friendly. Like, actually aren't. Spent 2 days going through 2 years worth of saved projects to free up space on my device. Still not done, but need a break so I can get some sleep. Oh no, wow. Your stream is interesting. Good to wind down. Okay, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it to wind down. How did 2 years worth of saved projects take up space? What kind of projects? Are you talking about web dev projects? That shouldn't take up a lot of space. You could also compress them. Always worth going to meetups. If one person you meet, get along with, gets a job, they can let you know when a new job is available in the same company. Exactly. So you mean college matters and degree, because what I'm getting, it's all depends upon your actual skills these days, excluding the top universities here like Stanford, isn't it? I don't know if I fully understand what you mean. So you mean college matters and degree. What do you mean in degree? I'm actually looking for a job, so this advice is useful for me. I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad it's useful. I'm sorry you're looking for a job, but I do hope you find it. What's up, Prototypal? Hope you've been well, man. What's the difference in terms of experience when working at a startup? Experience of what, Alexa? Like, what is it like to work at a startup versus a bigger company as a dev? Is that what you're asking? I'm currently at BYU, and along with your degree, you get several certs. Programming is the name of one of them. I was considering fast-tracking the programming cert and looking for an intern. Okay, you could do that. We'd have to dig into your situation to see if that's a good idea or not. I don't know what fast-tracking exactly means for you, and I don't know the length of it, but... like generally, like if you're gonna get a bachelor's in anything, it should be a CS degree. A CS degree is gonna set you up well. It just will. Once you get these outside, more specific niche software engineering or web development degrees, then it gets a little bit shaky. It can be really helpful. It certainly can. But CS degrees are just trusted in the industry. That's just the reality. What are those fundamentals most new bootcamp self-taught developers are missing? Like, there's a giant list that you should just look up. We're not going to go through every single fundamental. But yeah, you could just look up like giant list of fundamentals depending on the specific position that you're trying to get in the specific stack. That's what I would do. And solving different problems too. Native Americans used to be... Native Americans used to do ceremonial dance for crops to grow. Us developers have to do something similar for the market to be better. What do you want to do? What should we do as a community to wish for more jobs? Went to a few meetups, but I'm from Canada. But I'm from Canada. What? Why did you say, but I am from Canada? Are the meetups not that great there? Or what is it like to work at a startup versus a big old company? It could be a bit different. Sometimes it's not about the size of the company. Sometimes it's also about the size of the tech team. But generally, you're wearing a few more hats at a startup company. And it seems to be a little bit more kind of upbeat. And the culture is really important. And people get to know each other a lot more. It's more personable with a larger company, and you get stuff out faster, and it's important to get stuff out faster, right? And so like the quality of what you do might be a little bit lower. NM Flash, thanks for the subscription. Welcome. So the quality is a little bit lower, like you're kind of skimping on some test and scalability and to get products out there because you got to do it quickly. Like the startup world moves quickly, and you have smaller windows and smaller runways where companies have longer runways, and you can develop a little bit more of a process where it takes longer to get the code out, but there's generally a higher quality that's expected. Yeah, bigger companies can be at a little bit of a slower pace, less personal. There's a lot of other details we can go into, but I think that's enough. Like you talked about software engineering college, so then it seems college matters according to you, but I feel like other developers, well, there's not a software engineering college. Colleges they might have a software engineering degree, or they might have a CS degree, and the CS degree is what I'm recommending. But I feel like other developers suggesting dig into projects, you got to do both. Like even with a CS degree, you got to do both. I have always recommended CS graduates dig into projects. And again, you can get CS fundamentals down through alternative education, but a lot of people won't dig into that. Files were from web dev projects, Scratch projects, Unity. Oh, okay, we're getting into game development. I gotcha. That makes sense. Let's shout out Hello World at the same time. I like it. I have a CS degree, but certainly it's not from a top college, so what you say whether college really matters if you know how to get it done efficiently. A CS degree is always going to make you stand out more in the web development world. It always will. It doesn't mean just because you have a CS degree, you are going to win over people in the self-taught or coding bootcamp path. But it will increase your chances, right? A lot of it's just compounding. It's just a bunch of building blocks, and you use as many building blocks as possible by learning new things and building new things and getting more experience doing so. And at the end of the day, like that's kind of just in terms of skill level, where CS grads generally have a stronger foundation. The thing is, CS graduates, when you hire CS graduates versus people that go through alternative education, the ramp up time, generally they can kind of start about the same for the first 6 months, but the ramp up time, CS grads generally like have more of an exponential curve for a ramp up in what they can produce in the amount of time. So you guys kind of start at the same level sometimes, if you do start with the same knowledge, but, or you start, maybe same knowledge isn't the right word. I don't know. I'm lacking words at the moment. But essentially, CS grads have proven to ramp up exponentially faster. And that's just a reality. It doesn't mean, and people, I think sometimes when you hear this advice, it's easy to take this so literally. It doesn't mean a self-taught developer is dumber than a CS grad. It doesn't mean a self-taught developer is going to do worse than a CS grad. It doesn't mean they're going to ramp up slower than a CS grad. Statistically, that is true. But at the individual level, that doesn't have to be true. I think that's a really important distinction to understand. I've already a non-CS bachelor's. People recommend I get a CS master's instead. I wouldn't recommend that. What are you going into, though, Albert? If you're talking about becoming a web developer, I would highly recommend against that. There is the reality of being overqualified, and overqualified essentially means you're not going to fit within their salary range. That's essentially the concern that companies have when you get like a master's. Especially if you have no professional experience, I think that's going to hurt you more than it helps you. At this point with a CS bachelor's, what you should be doing is getting more practical skills, more marketable skills, and building personal projects and participating in an internship. Hey, Don, after someone who already landed their first dev job, should one still have their portfolio and projects on their resume when applying for their second role? It depends how much experience you have, B-Club. If it's like 1 to 2 years experience, you don't necessarily have to, but I would have a recent project at the very least, because if you don't have a job, you should be building. If you don't have a dev job, you should be building, even if you have professional experience. If you're not building, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot in terms of marketability. So you should showcase a recent project that you're working on and commit often, commit early, commit often, and showcase at least whatever you have to show, and just keep pushing commits to that code base and let it grow and set up continuous integration so that it's updating the live site. And so, if you want to always present the most recent work that you've done to employers, and I think that's how you do it as a professional developer. But you can if they're very impressive projects, but ultimately, you probably want to highlight your professional experience and showcase the project that you're working on now. Do you think there's a thought of you have a rite passage, like if you don't go through a CS degree that then you aren't going to be considered? A lot of people think that, yes. Yes, a lot of people think that, and it's a misconception. So when I talk about CS grads are going to be more competitive than you, I'm talking about statistically. It doesn't, I think you really have to understand that there are always exceptions to the rule. There are always individuals that stand out. And if you are that individual that doesn't have the money to go through a CS degree, you have to figure out, how do I be that individual that stands out? Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to get into front-end development. Albert, I really think that's a waste of money. You have to decide for yourself, for sure. And maybe there are other variables that you have to consider that I don't know about in your situation, but my gut tells me that's a waste of money. Spend all that time really growing with marketable skills and building and participating in an internship. And I think I don't care. I think I need to start talking about and encouraging the free internship more often. I was concerned that whether my CS degree from a low-ranked college would affect my chances or not. It's only going to help, and I'm thinking that you cleared that you compared CS versus other degrees, rather university rank. Gotcha. It can only help. It's not going to hurt you to list completed bachelor's with a CS degree. That makes sense. I appreciate the insight. You're welcome. I have experience as an automation tester. I would like to become a web developer. Is it going to be a plus on my resume, or will it not impact? It'll be a plus. So when you say automation tester, did you write automated tests? Did you write code? Because, or did you just click run and run automated tests that ran automated tests? You write code. Okay, yes. Put that on your resume. That's a plus. That's why a lot of people see QA as a stepping stone into web development. Generally, it is not. But that changes when you start writing automated tests. I wish I could have some extra space to scroll with Restream chat. Like having to look all the way down here. Oh, my neck. All right. Any other questions? What about hackathons? What about hackathons? I was on back end. Okay. Yeah, I'm, and that can apply towards front end positions as well. Writing code is awesome. Here's what I think a lot of people should consider doing. Like, even if you're not technically in a coding role, you should ask your manager or whatever department is concerned with it, like, hey, I'm trying to grow as a developer. Is there anything I can build? If you're trying to get into web development, are there any web applications that I can build that would help your department out or help you out, manager, right? Or help me out. What happens when you build even if you build scripts to automate a lot of your workflow? That is something that you can put on your resume. Like, you're just flat out lying to say that you were a software engineer at your company because you built some automated script, obviously, but still, that experience can still be listed on your resume. And that's fantastic. You can create your own experience when you already have a professional position that's not a dev position. Almost everything can be automated. If you haven't learned that through technology, I don't know what to tell you. Like, almost everything can be automated. Workflows can be automated. They can become much easier and much faster. You, as a developer with coding skills, can make your job faster, probably in some way, at least a lot of office jobs. And if you're not taking advantage of that, I feel like you're just, you're kind of just skipping that opportunity. Hey, Don, do companies in Europe hire juniors from abroad, or it's hard to get one? I have no idea with Europe. We had a QA go Salesforce dev, so it's possible. And I would even, I would say a low-code solution like Salesforce is an option. I would say a low-code dev position is a stepping stone that people should consider. I just watched a video where they were suggesting a lot of projects dropping TypeScript as it's having time issues. So should I learn it or not, considering JS team suggestion update for type in? Suggesting update for considering I feel like you need to provide complete sentences, learn with me. I feel like it's really hard to navigate your question and make sure that I understand it fully. I'll answer the first one without the consideration for the context of the second sentence. TypeScript is still going to be common. It's still going to be popular. And I do think it's still something to potentially pick up, especially if you have a lot of TypeScript positions in your local big city that you're applying to. It depends. TypeScript is one of those extra things where it can make you stand out, but it depends on the positions that you're applying to. Ultimately, way too many developers are diving into TypeScript too early in their learning journey, though. Building website is yet sustainable. I mean, WordPress, I have no idea what that question is. Full sentences. I want to try to understand your questions, and I'll do my best, but I need full sentences with proper grammar. I tried that, but there's a lot of red tape. My manager liked the idea and approved of me writing a program for the company, but the red tape takes months to... Yep, that can be a pain at larger companies. I'm guessing you work at a larger company. Sometimes you have that opportunity, sometimes you don't. But I'm glad you're pushing for that. So it takes months, and then you start doing it months later. That is another con, in my opinion, of working at a big company. That's why I like the startup culture. Generally, the CEO and tech leaders, they're very open to you taking initiative like that, very open to it. And that's just a kind of large company. It's a pain at small companies, especially working with legacy. I think it's so. That doesn't mean there's not an exception to the rule, but it's definitely it's a more common pain at larger companies. Generally, smaller companies, it's going to be a lot easier. But you're saying working with legacy code. I think what you're inferring to is upgrading the technology. You're not inferring to solving problems, Because I would argue, like, if you're working at a small company with legacy code, I think the limitation is going to be upgrading the technology. The limitation is not taking the same legacy code and then solving different problems within that company. I would argue you're probably going to have more of an opportunity if you're willing to work with old code to solve new problems. It isn't the most fun thing to do, but I think there's still more of an opportunity at smaller companies. I mean, in a new version update, there might be a possibility of inducing type settings, which actually going to kill the TypeScript's very purpose of existence. So I am seeking your view about it. My view still stays the same. Those few projects that are dropping TypeScript are placing it with JS doc. Am I like way off? Does JS? What do you mean JS doc? JS doc is simply... I guess I never used JS doc for types. Oh, okay. I really haven't used JS doc too often. Okay. I think I used it in one of my positions. We used JS doc for a little bit. I think working with TypeScript is okay. I think the growth that needs to happen is working with types. There are different libraries that can be pulled in to bring type checking into JavaScript. And I think the experience companies are looking for that are going to help you ramp up faster with whatever they're using is just working with types. Even working with a different typed language could be experienced or experience that's going to carry over into, like, let's say you never learned TypeScript, but you've built a few projects with a typed language where you had to declare all those types and it was stricter. That can carry over. And I think it's just about the experience of working with that. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it. A lot of good questions. Any final questions? We have 3 minutes left. A lot of good questions. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'll... the next time we do a job search, I think what I'll probably do is focus on job boards for startups. And we got to start going through internships and how do we look at this internship and how do we apply for it? Like, what are the things the company is actually looking for and considering to hire for this internship? Yeah. As a fresher with no real work, at example, what would you suggest should be there in profile? Okay. Learn, you got to run your stuff through a grammar check. Yeah, it's so hard navigating through your questions. Go ahead and run it through. You can use, what I use is Grammarly. It's a really cool tool. If your English isn't strong, Grammarly is a really good tool to automate that. I use it. My English is pretty strong and I still use it. And you could also run it through ChatGPT and stuff like that, but there are extensions that can help with grammar. But yeah, either way, I think that's about it. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. But yeah, join Discord if you haven't already. I'm going to consider building that, the internship, not the internship, but the job board listing in some channel in Discord. I just want to think about how I want to do it. And yeah, we'll just go from there. All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I should release a new podcast episode next Monday. But yeah, good luck on all of your projects and happy coding, everyone. Take care.